I've been confused why Orb isn't more popular than it is. It gets the praise and won awards and has tons of videos on YouTube about it, but when I bring it up to people at anime conventions, they've never heard of it. The chain broke somewhere and I couldn't understand why. Then it hit me. The thing that makes Orb great is also the reason it doesn't spread. Because when we try to get someone to watch it, we all say the same thing. It's a show about people researching heliocentrism, branded heretics by a church, and burned at the stake. And yeah, that sounds interesting. It got me to watch it. It has mystery and stakes. There's just one problem. That's not what it's about. I mean, yeah, sure, technically that's the story. But if that's the Orb you're expecting, you're waiting for science and history, and you'll get neither of those. And it wasn't until I rewatched it that I finally understood what it's really about and why I love it. So it does start with setting up this idea it's going to be about science. You get to meet Rafal, and he learns about astronomy, and he loves the stars. And then he meets with a heretic who teaches him about heliocentrism, and he falls in love with that. Right here, I had the feeling this is going to be a science show, but it never really showed any. It just kept going on. And him knowing the risk that he could die, he could be killed at any point, but continued to do this to the point that when he was captured, he chose death instead of giving up his research. He was this kid who was coasting through life, who just wanted to do the easy thing and just enjoy life. But then he found this that he loved. It was something worth having a hard life for, something worth dying for. So even though it was about this heliocentrism, it didn't get into the science at all. It wasn't really about that. It was really about something worth dying for. And right before he died, and it showed his face, how much peace he had. That's where I knew the show was going to be different, and it was going to cover something more serious than just science or history. But it wasn't until one of the next people that I felt the show really dropped this pretense that it was about science, and that's Oczy. And he's actually my favorite character in this show. He's stupid, like he can't read or write, and he knows it. He's trying to learn, he's trying to get better, he's trying to improve himself, but in the end, he does know his limits. And he doesn't do any of the research, it's all someone else. So right there, you can already tell, why is this character so important? All he does is journal his time working with the person that is doing the research. He puts it in a way he understands and writes because he also found something he loved. The general idea that the world could be beautiful because of heliocentrism. It had nothing to do with the science. It had nothing to do with the way it would change the world or anything. It came truly from he wanted to live in a world that was beautiful. And then when all the research ended up just being burned, in his book, his diary that he wrote is the one thing that survived and carried this idea forward. Is absolutely amazing to me. I think that's so cool, but it also just drops the pretense that science is the point. Science is not the point here, because if it was, the research would survive. The geniuses died, and the only thing that survived was this diary of a stupid person. And I loved that. I love that because it showed what the show's really about, but then it also let me, myself, step into the show. Because yeah, I can read, I can write, but I'm not a genius. But I'm wanting to live in a beautiful world. I'm wanting to observe and talk about my observations. And that made him really relatable and made me really like the show. Because he's a no one, but he is the reason this survived. And the show kind of keeps going, and we get to see the different characters and their different reasons and convictions for continuing to pursue this truth. And again, it's never about science. It's honestly barely even about the heliocentrism. And then at the end, when we see Nowak standing in the church and it's burning down around him, and you feel the pain that he's going through. This guy that I wanted to write off as a villain, I just couldn't anymore. He was doing exactly what everybody else was doing, following his conviction, doing his best, fighting his own demons. And then when the show goes back to Rafal, and we learn that he's not the hero he was made out to be, that's when it finally clicked for me. These parts put a pit in my stomach when I learned that the good guy wasn't as good as I thought he was. And it broke my heart when the bad guy was really relatable. The show just made me keep questioning with every episode what's really going on here. How far can conviction take you? How far should conviction take you? These were all just broken people searching for a meaning to survive, to exist. And that's what it's about. It is about these broken people. And they're all, whether it's Oczy or Nowak, They're all just searching for a reason to exist, a meaning to exist, and doing their best with the mistakes they've all made, the brokenness and weaknesses they all have. And that experience watching this and understanding this goes far beyond just this heliocentrism and use these broken people. And when I realized this, I was like, oh, no duh. Because in every episode, the show tells you this is what it's about. That's exactly what Kaiju is about. The intro song. It talks about screaming over and over into a void, hoping anyone will hear you, anyone will tell you you exist, so you can feel like you exist, feel like you have a meaning, trying to find a purpose, feeling like you're turning into a monster because you are screaming so much, just hoping for anything to help you. It's a beautiful song, and every time I hear it, it brings me back to this show and the experience I had watching it, an experience that goes far beyond just a show about heliocentrism. And what I love the most about this song is the way it ends, the same ending as Orb that brings everything together and makes it such a powerful show that will change you when you watch it. Because the song ends saying the future is conveniently bright because it's conveniently incomplete. And that's exactly what we see in Orb. In every character, their futures weren't written yet. And that is very convenient because you can change it. You can move the world even with your mistakes and your weaknesses. Honestly, this kind of just reminds me of a game, Outer Wilds. We don't tell people it's a game about exploring planets and flying through space because that's not what you really remember when you play it. You remember your experience in doing that because that's the point. This sense of adventure, this feeling of being a part of something that's so much bigger than you, that feels massive yet fleeting, that makes you feel small and big at the same time. Just telling them it's about space doesn't explain the feeling you get when you first launch the game, looking up at the sky, gasping for the first time. Because that is just such a powerful feeling that I will always remember. So I don't actually know what would be a better pitch. And I guess that might be the point. It is the experience, and that will be different for everybody. But that's what we need to say. Sure, we can tell people still it's about heliocentrism, but also we need to tell them, but your experiencing watching this will go far beyond that because that's not it. And I guess in a way, that's what good art is like. It is so hard to describe that even trying to describe it might ruin it for other people. But I guess just the best we can do is explain our feeling watching it. And if you want another show that kind of goes beyond just what the story seems like it's about and feels more real and the experiencing watching it will change you, make sure to watch Land of the Lustrous. I just made a video talking about it and why it's such an impactful story, and you can watch it right here. So make sure to check it out, and I'll see you there.